Massimo Lombardi. I work in San Donato Milanese in cardiac imaging. The title of my speech was an update on cardiac imaging with respect to heart failure. So the speech was divided in three parts. The first part was dedicated to echocardiography, which remains the main cardiac imaging technique to be used regularly, mandatory in all patients with heart failure. There are some new application of this technique, but this is not making so much difference with respect to the enormous amount of data which can be collected by a standard echo examination. The second part of the speech was dedicated to cardiac CT, which is now one of the innovative techniques to be used to evaluate, to rule out the presence of coronary artery disease in patients with unknown origin of their heart failure. Is widely used and is correct to be used, while the new application like the evaluation of viability, the evaluation of perfusion are still confined in research labs. The third part of the speech was dedicated to cardiac MR, which has a fundamental role together with echocardiography in evaluating the cardiac function, to evaluate the myocardial perfusion, and and mainly the evaluation of scar. This is the first choice technique to evaluate the presence, location, extension of scar, or myocardial scar, post-infarction scar. And beside this application, what is coming out from the research labs is the possibility to evaluate the fluidodynamic, the left ventricular fluidodynamic, which is a completely new application where it's possible to evaluate the presence, to measure the presence of abnormal vortex inside the left ventricle cavity, to evaluate quantitatively the shear stress which is discharging on each segment of the left ventricle. And actually this is we are applicating this technology for evaluate a special subset of patients undergoing the surgical reshaping of left ventricle, where we can observe the differences in the fluidodynamic between the before and after the dramatic change in terms of morphology, volumes, and geometry of the left ventricle. The conclusion was that there is no one single methodology to address all the problems raised by this complex clinical situation, which is heart failure, but only a multimodality approach has reason to be pursued.